Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing at YouTube, Kern Radio. It is a Tuesday, busy first day of July, as you well know by now. The jury has come back with a verdict. They are not complete with their deliberations. They are hung on racketeering, count one. They've got a verdict on count 2, 3, 4, and 5. But they'll begin deliberations again tomorrow. I'll walk you through all the possibilities because there are a lot of different things that can happen in this case. I'll walk you through it in just a second. Bryan Kohberger is a happy man. Nobody's talking about him today. We'll kind of unpack the plea deal and why some of the parents of the 4 Idaho students that were murdered by Mr. Kohberger, and we can now say that after taking a plea deal, why they are livid, absolutely livid at the plea deal, which you get me nervous when you stand up. I think you're going to come in here and correct me. I've got something wrong with the video or something. Don't do that to me. Kohberger could I totally lost my let me start again. The families are livid that there was a plea deal, and that's why we can say that he's convicted, and there are all kind of options about that as well. We'll get into that. They're calling it, the families, shocking and cruel that the DA's office in Idaho created this plea deal. I really don't understand that. And again, maybe it's my liberal upbringing rearing its head again. I'm not a big death penalty guy. But y'all are going to have to walk me through how, and I've never lost anybody to a murder or a crime, but how killing this man somehow heals your wound. Please stand by. It's our engineer. Oh, this ought to be rich. There's also a reason for someone to walk in there. LOL, love you. Have a good show. Be thankful it's not me walking in. Ain't that the truth? Rusty Birchfield, our engineer. Because I'm not busy, you know. Feel free to chime in, Rusty. I'm not doing anything. You want to chit chat? I'm just here. Give me a call. Give a call. We'll get into that, Mr. Kohberger. There is, have you seen the video now of the miracle in the Bahamas? You know what I'm talking about? The 4 or 5-year-old who fell off the Disney cruise. Dad innately, instinctively jumps in after her. They stop the boat, which took about 20 minutes, and pluck them out of the ocean. Man, that ain't supposed to happen. That ain't supposed to happen. I looked up some stats. Where am I? Because everything is discombobulated. I had the show done 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock. I come out of the shower around noon, 12:30. I'm like, say what? Tear that up. I got this in 2019. There were 25 people that fell off boats. 9 were rescued. That ain't supposed to happen. And if you watch the video of the rescue of the boat that they sent, because Disney did do a nice job of finding them. First of all, you can see the boat going out there and you're watching the video and you still can barely see the dad's head. It's like a little dot. I mean, the fact that they even found them is amazing. And we'll walk you through all the factors. The fact that it was near the Bahamas, I would assume means the water was a bit warmer. The fact that it was between Florida and the Bahamas, the water probably wasn't as choppy as it might be if you'd been in the middle of the Atlantic. Or maybe even out here in the Pacific. I don't know. But that's not supposed to happen. You got to go Google this video of the rescue of the dad. And what a father, man. What a relationship they're going to have for the rest of their lives. Imagine having a dad. I mean, like I've always said, all my self-esteem comes from my mother and my father. But imagine having a dad who saved your life, who plucked you out of the ocean. I mean, don't look at me like that. Don't think I don't love you. Who jumped off a cruise boat to save your behind, girl? No, you can't go to the prom. You know what I'm saying? You can never talk back to your daddy after he's plucked you out of the ocean. You remember that Disney cruise? That's right. You better go back to your room. Mess with me, Jack. Throw you back in that ocean. Throw you right back in there in the Bahamas. That's what Harry would say. Good googly boogly. We'll get into that. Then coming up in the 5, the Hispanic Chamber is widening their brand, and they've got a special program that they're doing highlighting members of our community, and they have selected a good friend of the program, Romeo Agbalog, who is special advisor to the chancellor. You know, when he told me that, I thought that was just his own title. I didn't know that was like his official title. Like if you go to KCCD in the directory, I'm pretty sure it says Romeo Agbalog, special counsel to the chancellor. I thought he was just describing what he did when he told me that a couple of weeks ago, but no, that's his title. We'll talk with the genius coming up in the 5, and we'll talk a little sports. Had a tough morning this morning. It has been a busy day. Tough morning. I don't think I've ever seen Coco Gauff get her ass kicked like that. Never. Because you're going to read it, if you didn't watch it, 7-6, 6-1. But the 7-6, the first set, wasn't that close. She was getting beat 5-3. And the girl, the Ukrainian girl, I can't remember. She started to choke and let her back in the set. Coco was down 5-3 and came back and took it to a tiebreak and just folded. And the fold continued in the second set. I've never seen her play so bad. And you know what? I should have predicted this. Because what is she, 21 years old? You win the French Open. You fly in your jet plane with your mom and your dad and your brother. And for the next 72 hours, you're the most feted, most sucked up to athlete literally on the planet. For those 72 hours, that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Monday, she's on the Today Show, Good Morning America, and whatever the CBS morning show is called. I think that's what it's called, CBS morning show. In one day, in like 3-4 hours, you're on 3 network morning shows. And everybody, everywhere you go, everyone is saying, congratulations, Coco. That was a great win. Congratulations. How in the world is a 21-year-old really supposed to be like, okay, I'm over it. I got to go back to work. You know what I'm saying? You're grinning and you're smiling and you're thinking about your championship. And she got bounced in the first round. Ben Shelton and Taylor Fritz, a pair of American men, have advanced to no one's surprise. But I did not see, during the break, we'll check and see how Djokovic did. He was even. What do you got? Did he really? Wow. He is, it's incredible to see him. What is he, the 5th or 6th seed? It's incredible. It's incredible that guy is the 6th seed. And Carlos Alcaraz, who just beat Sinner, is the 2nd seed, despite the fact that he just beat Sinner in the French Open. And Alcaraz needed 5 to get out of the first round. No, it does not. Does not. You want to take a little bet right now? You take Sinner and I'll take Alcaraz. All right, good. I'm done deal. Watch, Djokovic wins. I wouldn't have a problem with that. And the Dodgers start what should be a pretty easy series against the hapless Chicago White Sox. Have y'all looked at the standings lately? What do you think the Dodgers lead is in the West? 7.5 games up on San Diego, 8 games up on the god awful Stinky Smellies. You no good piece of crap. Are you serious? I'm pretty sure that's what I saw, that there was growing rumor that he was going to sign with the Giants. Are you sure it's not the New York Football Giants and he's not trying to be a field goal kicker? You know good. You know what Jackie Robinson did? You know what Jackie Robinson did when Walter O'Malley, who couldn't stand Robinson, sent him to San Francisco? He retired. He did the right thing. He committed Harry Carey. You don't go play for the Orange. You know. That's why I will not discuss Oral as a lead Dodger pitcher. Went and played for the Orange and Black. You think Sandy Koufax would have gone and played for the Orange and Black? I'm just asking. You think Don Drysdale, Don Newcomb, you think Clayton Kershaw would go play for the Orange and Black? What's the matter with you? Austin Barnes. Are you sure? I think he's trying to be a field goal kicker with the New York Football Giants, and you're misreading it. Because we're pissed. What's the matter with you? It's one thing if you get traded. It's another thing if you take their money. We'll get into that a little bit. And that's our broadcast, pretty much. Yeah, that's all I got. That should fill 3 hours. I'm pretty doggone sure. And then it's off to Casey Steakhouse tonight. I need a little protein. I've not been eating well. I had a tuna fish sandwich for dinner last night. I was just lazy and I just didn't feel like calling or walked across the street and got me a tuna fish sandwich. So tonight, what should I do, folks? YouTubers? Anybody watching? Is there anybody out there? I hope not. I'm dressed like a bum today. Quick timeout. We're just getting started. We'll come back and unpack the many, many different things that may occur tomorrow as Sean Combs has to sleep knowing, I know I'm going to jail. It's just a matter of finding out tomorrow how long. We'll unpack that for you. And our only guest of the day is Romeo Agbalag, coming up in the 5. He is special counsel to the chancellor at the Kern Community College District. Part of a new campaign that the Kern Hispanic Chamber is doing. I'll explain when we get into the 5. You're listening on a Tuesday to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. I was going to borrow your bike.
What?
Get some water.
Go ahead.
I'm so pissed. I thought I had 2 the other day. Probably got it at Luigi's. See Coco Gauff get her ass beat this morning?
Did she?
Yeah. First round. Out. Out. Hey, put that on RB. Just leave it on Ralph Bailey. And you see I lowered my chair. I think it's a better shot with the lower of the chair. No, I didn't. I don't care. Let him listen. I don't care. You can eavesdrop. I don't want to see my shorts. I hate being slow. Feels weird. But it's a better shot. That's a better shot than me up. What? Oh, Ralph Bailey Show. There you go. We've got to take new pictures.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's
Although actually, I'm starting to like that picture because at least I look younger. I used to hate that picture, but now that I look all old, because that picture is like, McKay was here when we took that picture. So that had to be 6 years ago. The infamous incident. The unspoken incident. Oh, I cracked myself up. Is this JR's? It's a little Jesus. Yeah, ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? Or mine? Really? Really? Okay, now I just got your theme, I guess. But I thought for sure you'd go all Diddy. I thought for sure you'd go all Diddy. So what? 2 days in a row, because they're going to come back. I don't understand how they can. Well, we don't know if they found him guilty on 2, 3, 4, or 5. We really don't. And I don't know why the judge would not have had them in this high-profile case before they left tonight at 6:20 back on the East Coast. Why the judge would not have had them come out and at least read where they stand on 2 through 5. I mean, there is a little public interest in this thing. But as I said, there's a lot that could go on. And there's what is called an Allen charge, where if they come back at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, after 4 or 5 hours of deliberating, and say they're still hung on the racketeering charge, charge number 1, the judge can go back and say, first, she would ask, what's the count? And if the count's 6-6, well, she might let them just be dismissed and have it hung. If that occurs, and this is, I saw some pro Diddy folks on Facebook celebrating that he's clear of the racketeering charge. That's not true. You don't know what happens in a hung jury. We've seen this in the Menendez case. We've seen this in many different cases. The district attorney has the option to retry him. He could be sentenced to jail for 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 2 and 3, or 2 and 4, or 2 and 5, or 3 and 5, whatever are those counts that they've made a verdict on. And the prosecution in District 2 could say, we're going to retry him on the racketeering case. We don't think the jury understood what racketeering is. And I agree with that if they don't come back with a guilty charge on racketeering, particularly if they come back guilty on 2 through 5, because that means that they've established some of the predicate parts of the crime and of the RICO. And that is distribution of drugs. That's open and shut. Again, you can't have an employer ask an employee to buy you illicit drugs as the employer. That is using your legitimate business for criminal enterprise, acquiring illegal drugs in the name of Frank Black. That was what was in Los Angeles. That was found in the home in Miami. And some of the employees given immunity testified to the fact that they purchased drugs and set up these hotel nights or freak-offs, whatever you want to call it. There's the extortion of Cassie's parents, where Cassie's parents, middle-class folk, husband and wife, been together their entire lives, had to send a billionaire $20,000. They had to get a home equity loan and send $20,000 to this POS because he was mad because Cassie was seeing Kid Dynamite, Kid Galahad, Kid Curry, Jason Kidd, Kid and Play. That's about all I got. Oh, nice. What was the child's name? Kid Cudi. He was mad that she was seeing Kid Cudi. That's why he firebombed his car, although they wanted to walk away from that because there was really no proof of that. No fingerprints, no boop, boop, boop. But there were messages. There were text messages from Cassie that said he's going to destroy his car prior to somebody, tearing apart the man's roof and firebombing it. I really don't understand how they cannot come back with a guilty verdict on the Racketeering Act. I really can't, unless they are finding him not guilty on some of the 2 through 5 charges. Because if you've got him sex trafficking, if you've got him breaking the Mann Act, if you believe that he had employees buy drugs, set up these things, those are all RICO predicates. As we talked about going into this thing, and I don't know if the jury understands this, Cassie or the Jane Doe could have been with him for 10 years and loved it, loved having sex with these prostitutes, loved the drugs, loved the baby oil, loved the attention, loved him paying her rent, loved everything about it. And then one day just said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. Boom. No means no. No means no. In the 21st century, no means no. And there were explicit text messages from Jane Doe who said, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired of being your side chick. This isn't about us. This is about you. And I don't want to do it anymore. That is coercion. The audio where he says, baby, the girl, we can argue on all of this, but you got to do your job. You got to be there. He actually used the word J-O-B. That's coercion, the violence, her leaving, and him dragging her back into the hotel. How is that not kidnapping? I want to leave, and you're physically preventing me from leaving. I mean, is there not a picture of Cassie and Diddy in the hallway under the Webster definition of kidnapping? I'm pretty sure there is. I haven't checked, but I'm pretty sure there is. Picture him in a towel dragging her back to the room that she just ran from. But yet they're confused on whether he kidnapped this woman. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I am really, really frightened that they're going to come back guilty on 2 and 3, not guilty on 4 and 5. And that's why they're confused on 1. And the Allen charge that I alluded to means that the judge would go and say, if it's 7-5, if it's 9-3, she deliberately talks to the minority and says, go back and listen to the majority and see if you can work something out. And that's the last ditch. She hasn't reached that point yet. She's going to give them the morning, and we'll see what happens. But they were dismissed for the day. It is done, and it is a long night's sleep for one Sean Combs, 55 years old. The other question is whether the judge sentences him concurrently or consecutively. Consecutively means if he's guilty on 2, 3, 4, and 5, and he gets 5 years for this, 5 years for that, 5 years for that. Consecutively means he does 5, he does another 5, and he does another 5, does 15. Concurrently means he does 5, period, end of sentence. I am praying that's not the case. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's more of the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. I need water. I need water. I thought I had water. I thought I bought 2 the other day. Whose Italian mineral water is that in there? I'm so, I'm so tempted to suck that thing down. I thought for sure I had a 50-ouncer in there.
Ask around, maybe they'll let you have it.
Nobody knows who it is. Josh, they never saw it before.
Hey, did you just have one order for Ava? Oh, under one order.
And then the other one is just one, right? Yeah, I
Alright.
have it.
Okay, she's got it, honey. Okay, I'll sign for him. Bye-bye. Finding you guys.
Oh, I know it's kind of hidden here.
Yeah, well, mine doesn't.
Every half hour, weather breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. It's the JR Show. So if you say, "Hey, did you see that the United States bombed Iran over the weekend?" Depending on who you're talking to, you'll get a certain response. It'll either be, "Well, we didn't bomb Iran. We strategically hit them with missiles." And then you have the other side that goes into the, "Oh, I thought Donald Trump said he wasn't going to start any new wars." The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
So I'm having for dinner tonight. Fettuccine. Or a steak. No, I'm having a steak. I'm having a steak. Yeah, I'm having a steak. I'm having a steak. I'm having either New York or filet. What should I have, guys? New York or filet? They're both great. I love the fat on the outside of a New York. Is that bizarre? Like I don't eat just the fat, but you just take a little piece at the end of the New York and add that with the meat and have a little fat part. You know, that's pretty tasty. Pretty tasty. Although filet, you can cut Chef Daniel's filet with a fork. Really looking forward to dinner tonight. I've not eaten. We're still talking about the Sean Combs case because the thing broke early because the jury came in with its fifth note asking to hear more testimony. They wanted to read back on some of the transcripts of the trial, including testimony from Daniel Phillips. Daniel Phillips is one of the prostitutes that was flown in, so we know he's going to jail. I mean, that is an absolute slam dunk. But this is why I thought for sure they were going to come in guilty on the racketeering, because I've been following Laura Coates. She's a CNN reporter, and the note read that they gave to the transcript that they wanted to reread, that they asked the judge in the fifth note this morning, was testimony from Daniel Phillips, the prostitute. And the testimony was him talking about an encounter with Cassie that he witnessed, where he said, out of nowhere, I could hear Cassie yell, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." And then I could hear again someone was being slapped around, slammed around the room. I mean, if that's not coercion, I don't understand how anyone can think, simply because there were times where she enjoyed it, because he would get her and Jane Doe high as a kite, how that somehow means you've bought into it when there are scenes like that, where you hear her begging forgiveness as he slaps her around. What kind of mindset do you think is going on when a woman? I mean, most of the black women I know, Negro. I've told you the story. I have never put my hands on a woman, never, ever, 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 ever. But I've come close one time. Kimberly Michelle Williams, beautiful girl from South Pasadena, California. And you've heard many stories about Kim. The story of me getting pulled over in the Chevy Chevette and being told to sit on the ground in my Carlton Banks best impersonation. I'll never forget, I was wearing khakis and loafers and a white and shirt and a yellow sweater because I was meeting Kim's parents for the first time. Well, that's another story. But totally forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, Kimberly Michelle Williams. Where was I going with it? Oh, be putting her hands on her. One time, we got into a fight, and I was laying on the couch. And to understand the fight, you have to understand the relationship. Kim, I don't know if it's fair to say stole me, but I was dating this is what an idiot I was. I was dating our manager. I was working for the LA Sentinel at the time, and I was dating the managing editor's daughter, Sheena, and met Kim and dumped Sheena for Kim. And when Kim would come, and we had to put the paper to bed on Tuesdays, so we'd be there all night. So Kim would come down to the newspaper and bring me dinner, and would go out of her way to suddenly get affectionate around Sheena and boop, boop. So one afternoon, we're talking, we're into a fight. I'm laying on the couch. She's in the kitchen making whatever. And I said something to the effect, well, Sheena wouldn't have done that. And Kim comes in and smacks me on the side of my face, on my ear. And I get up and I'm staggering around because she's hit me right on my ear, and my equilibrium and my balance was off. And she's like, oh, right. Don't get dramatic. Didn't hit you that hard. And when I finally came to, kind of, I turned and I grabbed her. I said, what is wrong with you? And threw her on the couch. And she had big old marks on her arms. And she looked at me. And I was like, Kim, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Please don't get dramatic. Please don't call the police. Oh, I'm not calling the police. Oh, no. I'm not calling the police. I'm calling my daddy. And I was more afraid of her father than I was the police. You know what I'm saying? That's been my experience with most black women. I don't know too many black women that take an ass whooping and just keep on coming back and keep on coming back and keep on coming back. I haven't met them. I really haven't met them. So my point is, as elongated as it has been and rambling and damn near forgetting where I was going, there has to be a certain mindset. It's the Patty Hearst thing. What do they call it? The Stockholm Syndrome, where you start feeling sorry for your own captors. Well, it's the same thing, but it's called love. Where you want to be with this man so badly, and you can't bring in all the reasons. You can't bring in the perks that he's a celebrity and he's rich. Because I mean, that's why people date. Because your stock is up and they believe in you and you've got something to contribute and bring to the table. You got to throw that out. It's about love. But to call this consensual? To say that they enjoy getting knocked around like this on the regular? When you've already concluded that he clearly was using employees as part of this enterprise, this big umbrella of criminal activity that included prostitution and transportation and drugs and extortion and kidnapping and arson. Are you kidding me? To me, it seems like a slam dunk, but I don't think it's going to be. I really don't. But like I said, the prosecution, and I would not be shocked if they come back and say, we're done 2 through 5, but we can't figure it out 1-1. It's 7-5. It's 6-6. It's impossible. I think the DA's office would say, fine, all right, let's go to sentencing, but we're going to retry this Negro. We are going to retry this because we don't believe you all understood what RICO, because we've never seen this. We've literally never seen this. Perhaps in jurisprudence, in the history, because the RICO Act is not that old. I'm older than the RICO Act. That's not saying much. Chris is damn near. No, that's not true. No. JR is about as old as the Rico. No, that's older than JR too. Because I think the Rico Act was like in the 70s. But they could. But we've never seen this. It's always been about high finance or the mafia. We've never seen anybody create a criminal enterprise so they can get off. I don't know how else to put that any more subtly. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think they're confused. I really do. And I think the foreman, who is a black woman, by the way, the foreman from the Bronx, from what I understand, I think they're going to go in and convince these people. We can't say he's guilty on sex trafficking and transporting prostitutes and not get him on the RICO. We can't. We got to come back and find him guilty. I think, however, there are members of the jury that don't want to see this guy go to jail for the rest of his life. I really think that's part of it. I think and I may have been wrong in my assessment that I said that I think black folks would be harder on Combs than white folks because the way he treated black women. He absolutely had no respect for black women. And that is not part of our culture. It just isn't. I mean, unfortunately, it is. I think in my opinion, hip hop is part of that guilty party that disrespects our women and, you know, bees and hoes and all this nonsense, having babies and walking away and that kind of nonsense. But I think there are members of that jury that don't want to see this guy. He's sitting in the jury in the court, all white-haired, looking feeble. His mom, his kids are there. I think they want to punish this guy, but they don't want to see him die in jail. But if the judge comes back and says we're going to run these the guilty counts consecutively, you know, he could be doing 20 years. He'd be 75 years old. He's 55 right now. He'd be 75 years old and get out of jail. I don't know. 842-5376, 842-KER. You got anything on the board? What do you got?
Ralph, you and Scott was saying this morning.
Oh, Lord.
How the girl fell off into the water in the first place. Apparently, the father placed the girl up on the railing to take a picture of her, and that's how she fell in. Not sure he gets the Responsible Parent of the Year award.
Well, I don't know anything about that. And that makes sense because I was wondering how the hell did she get off the ship, but it's 21st century. 21st century. I just saw some video of a woman standing in front of a bison in Yellowstone Park taking a picture. Literally standing in front of a bison. The bison's laying on the ground and she comes and walks right up to it and takes a selfie with the bison. And I'm watching the video. I'm like, wake up. Come on. Billy Buffalo, wake up. Give her the kick of your life. And he just sat there. You lucky son of a gun, yeah. So, no, I mean, but it was still, no, come on now. Man jumped in the damn ocean and plucked his daughter and held her up for 20 minutes. Man, I tried to be a lifeguard. I don't know if I could do that. It's one thing to come and swim in and grab somebody by the neck and swim back. That's one thing. But it's a whole nother thing to swim out in the middle of the ocean and keep yourself up as you're holding your daughter in the middle of an ocean. Now, granted, like I said at the top of the show, this is Bahamas. So the water was probably warmer than it might normally be unless it was in the Atlantic or the Pacific. And although this is Atlantic, I don't know something in the ocean. And the waves aren't quite as, as rough as it would be if it was off, say, I don't know, the East Coast seaboard. But you still got to tip your hat to dude. Now, I didn't know he was part of the issue. That pretty damn stupid. But he can still look at his daughter at 16 and be like, although now I guess if that's a fact, she could be like, well, you caused it. You better save me. Taking selfies. I was just 5. Holding me up over the ocean. What's the matter with you? So I don't know what to believe now. Let's go ahead and take a break. And we come back. We'll unpack Bryan Kohberger's plea deal and why the families of some of the 4 Idaho students that were murdered are absolutely livid. They wanted blood, plain and simple. They wanted this guy whacked, dead, muerta. It's the worst Italian accent I've ever had. Muerto, dead. Instead, he will rest in a prison for the rest of his natural life. You know, I was thinking about it. I got some self-satisfaction out of the guy that hit me in the face doing 2 years. Yeah, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I just think rotting away in prison for what? He's 30 years old. He could live to be 90. 6 decades in prison is worse than the easy out. You know what I'm saying? Boom, bang, bang, you're dead. It's over with. But 60, 50 years in prison and he killed kids? So it ain't going to be an easy stay in prison wherever they send him. I don't know. But the family's saying, you know, he'll still be able to breathe. He'll still be able to talk. He'll still be able to have relationships. He'll still be able to do this and that and this and that. And my daughter can't. So I want equality. I don't know. We talked a lot about the Bible yesterday. What would a Christian do? What would Jesus do? Just asking. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, first day of July. A short week. We're dark on 4th of July Friday. Hope you have a wonderful holiday. In the meantime, keep it locked right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we're going to talk medicine with our friend Dr. Viv Dev. We got one of the Money Wise guys coming on. John Cox will be joining us with the news quiz, and then you add news, traffic, and weather to that. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive, like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with a hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Now, there's a petition circulating to ban Sophie Cunningham from the WNBA after she stepped up as Caitlin Clark's enforcer, slamming a Sun player in a retaliatory foul. But Las Vegas Aces coach Becky Hammon came to Sophie's defense, applauding her for standing up for teammate Caitlin Clark, who had taken repeated hits earlier in the game. While some fans are calling Cunningham's play dirty, others are praising her fierce loyalty. Her message to the league is clear. Clark is no longer alone, and actions have consequences. Now, there's a petition.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $200-300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Don't let biased algorithms or degree screens or exclusive professional networks or stereotypes Don't let anything keep you from discovering the half of the workforce which stars. Work and skilled through alternative routes rather than a bachelor's degree. It's time to tear the paper ceiling and see the stars beyond it. Find out how you can make stars part of your talent strategy at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Are you even a fan of this guy? The only thing he's ever done that I like, and I'll gladly turn to my black card if y'all want me to. I'll gladly, is the remake of Sting's song, Every Breath I Take. I like that. That's about all. I don't like anything what else he's done. Did you see him try to be Sidney Poitier in the remake of A Raisin in the Sun with Felicia, I'm crazy as a dingbat, Rashad playing the mother? And you know why I bag on Mrs. Huxtable? Because she's the dean of some school at Harvard, I'm assuming theater of arts or whatever, and is professing to her children, students, kids, young adults, that Dr. Cosby was wrongfully prosecuted. What? What did you say? I mean, who did I just see talk about her experience with Cosby? Oh, Chelsea. I used to date Chelsea. Chelsea Handler talked about how before everything broke, Cosby invited her to his he was going to open for her. She was going to open for him. And he invited her up to his apartment or his hotel room. And she was aware of the rumors that were going on, which I didn't know about. Y'all know about it? I didn't know about before it all blew up, that he was famous for giving girls Rohypnol or knockout drugs. And so she took a bodyguard with him. And she said that I walked into the room and he came bouncing out, and then he saw who I was with, and she said I could just see his shoulders drop, and he didn't want anything to do with me. I said, no, okay, it was nice meeting you, and just kind of brushed her off. And she's funny. She said, little did he know that I've been roofied several times. It has no effect on me. Wouldn't done nothing on me. She's a badass. She really is. Didn't she date Diddy? No, 50 Cent. 50 Cent. Because she likes the brothers. She likes everybody. She's a little garden tool, but I don't have a problem with it. I like her. But anyway, 842-5376, 842-KERN. There's really not much to talk about in the Kohlberger case other than the parents. I was going to get some of the audio of Steve Goncalves. He's one of the parents who is just livid that they settled this thing. Because, if you're the family member of a victim, you have no say. You're just as much of a witness as anybody else. You have a say. In fact, there's a law that allows family members of victims to be heard, but it can fall on deaf ears. They don't have to listen to you. They don't have to take your advice. And I would have thought when I first heard this that everyone would have been relieved. You're saving a ton of money. And let me tell you something, as stacked a case as this is, you never know. You never know what a jury's going to do. Like, everybody's convinced that the jury is got guilty from 2 through 5 on Combs. That may not be true. You never know. And did you really want to roll the dice with all kind of things could happen? You get a bad judge. You get a bad judge that dismisses some evidence that would have incriminated Kohlberger. Or you get a bad jury and someone just holds out and you get a mistrial. And you thought you had a slam dunk, And now, Papachenko, look what you got. You got an 11-1 jury and a holdout, and you can't convict this guy. Meantime, you had a bird in the hand. You had him convicted. You had him in jail for the rest of his life without the remote possibility of parole. But y'all wanted blood. You went to a jury, and the jury screwed you. My world is you take the slam dunk. But it's the 21st century. We're different now. 3-on-1 layup. No, don't take the layup. Kick it out and take the three. Go ahead. And now, 21st century, you get an absolute slam dunk prosecution, and the parents are like, no, we want to roll the dice with a trial. Now, granted, I'm not even trying to say this isn't a slam dunk. I mean, they had the girl that saw, there were 6 people in the house. There were 2 survivors, 4 killed, quadruple murder. One of the girls claimed that she saw a man walking in the house. This is the thing that confuses me. Why that doesn't send bells and whistles off. College kids, though, are just so oblivious and so freaking naive. They have the camera. Because again, as I always tell you, as soon as you pull your key out of the front door, you're on somebody's camera. They've got the camera of his car leaving the scene. They have phone data that his phone just happened to be beeping right around the house. And most importantly, and what will always get you in the 21st century in a murder case, Chris, is what? No, what's irrefutable? No, not even your own voice. More than that. 3 letters. DNA. They got his DNA on the knife sheath, which I assume is a glove or a handle for a knife. Sheath, yeah. Because remember, that's I told you I broke the Stephen Towser. Remember the Stephen Towser case? Stephen Towser, assistant DA, who was having a homosexual relationship with Chris Hillis's son. Do you know how they got Hillis? He perspired on the knife. That's how they got him. Because DNA is even more solid than the sound of your own voice. On sweat. Hair follicles, they can get you on. That's why the O.J. Simpson case, if it's 10 years later, the hair follicles they found in the cap would have had that's open and shut. Well, that wouldn't have done any difference. Because what's the difference between the blood and the hair follicles? But yeah, hair follicles, sweat. That's what I'm saying. You can't get away with murder in the 21st century. You just can't. Unless you just absolutely kill somebody randomly that you don't know, you don't have a phone on you, and you somehow can get transported to that community without being spotted, which is almost virtually impossible. But I was shocked that everybody, I really was. And I'm sure I'm on the minority side of this thing. But I guess his death would bring some closure, I suppose, as opposed to waking up every day and knowing he's still alive, laying in some bed and something. See, I would find joy in that he's laying miserable in a prison. I don't know. Headed into the 4. With all what's going on, the passage of the big, beautiful bill is buried in our rundown today. We'll get to it after the break. What happens now? Chip Roy and some of the Freedom Caucus members of the House are still a little reticent about this bill. We'll talk about that when we come back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. 4 o'clock and you guys are still here.
Lucky them.
That's a record.
I wish my
Because
I was-
Daisy and what's the other girls with the brother? What's her sister's name? Emily.
You mean
They gone at 3:59:59.
Oh, okay.
Gone. 3:50. I've never walked by here at 4 o'clock and seen them still in here.
I wish.
Guilty or innocent? Who?
Oh, they gonna let him off.
You lost your mind.
I mean, he'll do like house arrest. He ain't gonna get no serious time.
Oh, did he?
You're crazy.
Come on, did he?
That's what
Yeah.
they were charging him for racketeering that they didn't talk about it.
That's the one they're hung on.
Yeah, 'cause they ain't talking about it.
But they got him guilty on 2 through 5, we're assuming. On racketeering, on trafficking and prostitution. The Mann Act, you can't transport prostitutes across state lines.
That I do
I
understand.
know.
I just don't think he's gonna get like 25 years.
Okay, the concert, and I'm like, I know.
I think he is.
How much time he already served? Like 2 years?
Like 2 years, yeah.
I don't think I think the max.
Well, the trafficking alone is 10 years.
Is it?
He's 55.
All right, see you guys.
See you later. Coming out when he's 65, 66 years old, if he gets 10.
That's what's going on.
And it's up to the judge whether they run consecutively. So, like, if he gets 5 for the trafficking and 5 for, see you later, the transportation, he can get, if it runs concurrently, he only does 5 years. If it runs consecutive, he does 10. So if they get him guilty on 2, 3, 4, and 5, and she says they've got to run consecutively, and he gets 5 years for each, that's 20 years, bruh. That's coming out
I
and
just don't feel
you
like,
75.
I just don't feel like they gonna give him that. Though.
See, I think they want to give him that, but I think the reason they're hung on the racketeering, as I just said on the show, they don't want to see him die in prison. They don't want to give him life. If he gets guilty on the racketeering, the number 1 count, he ain't coming out of prison. They call it, what do they call it?
Well, I feel like
They call it a toe tag release.
I feel like racketeering though, like they like any other racketeering case I've seen, they had everything already on you.
Right.
You ain't getting. There's no way you're getting out of racketeering.
Right. I think they've proven it though.
Really?
They got employees buying drugs. You're shipping in prostitutes.
What do you need all this baby oil for? Though? I just want him to speak on that.
I don't know.
I also think there's so much more behind. He's getting off because he's behind a lot of deaths. So this is.
Did you see what Suge Knight said?
Uh-huh.
Suge Knight is in prison talking about that he and somebody's mother had something to do with Tupac's death.
I think he got something to do with Tupac and Biggie death. And a couple more other deaths.
Yeah.
His hands got a lot of blood
Yeah.
on it.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Oh, you're right about that.
Bakersfield Police Department is asking for some help from the public in locating a 20-year-old woman who's reported missing. Officials describe Penny Valdivia as being 5 feet 4 inches tall and 150 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a white shirt, gray sweatpants, and pink Crocs. Anyone with information about her whereabouts is encouraged to call BPD at 661-327-7111. I'm John Shear with the KER Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
The army where you shoot them a mile away, you gotta get up close like this. You blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Waiting all day for, live from the KERN studio. Here's
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Tuesday, first day of July. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. We still got lots to do. We'll get into the big, beautiful bill. You're not going to like my take on this, I don't think. We'll get into that in just a second. I've got some audio, a little package. Did I send that to you? Of yeah, there was no mention of the dad taking selfies, but we've got some audio from the Disney Cruise rescue where a 5-year-old fell in, or maybe was dropped, according to Mr. Cox. Have you checked the wire on that? Scott? In the NFL, they would call that a drop. Isn't that what happened? Well, I mean, wait. He put her up on the ledge. He put her up on the ledge. She didn't climb up there. He put her on the ledge. And next thing you know, she's in the ocean. How is that not a drop? You can't. It's like he just kind of like, no, yeah, I think he put her up there and then he went to take the picture and and I have not heard that anywhere, and it's not in the audio that we're going to play at the bottom of the hour as well. But we'll take Mr. Cox's word for it, I suppose, or I guess the listener's word for it. And Romeo Agbalog is going to join us coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll talk a little sports. The Dodgers taking on the White Sox. Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the bump for the Dodgers today. And you know who's taking the bump tomorrow night, don't you? Thank you. That's the biggest pitching story in baseball right now. CK, sixth greatest Dodger pitcher, is 3. I got Sandy. Yeah, I wouldn't put her. He went to the Giants. Oh, screw Oral. I got Sandy. I got Don Newcomb. I got Fernando. I got Don Sutton. I got Drysdale. And I got CK. Those guys won World Series. Those guys, Sandy Koufax single-handedly won about 2 or 3 World Series. He single-handedly beat the Yankees when we swept them in 4. He single-handedly beat Minnesota when we beat them in the 60s. And CK has been known to choke in the playoffs and wasn't a huge factor in 20 or 24. Isn't that fair to say? But statistically, he is going to go down as the greatest Dodger pitcher. He's going to get 3,000 on tomorrow night. We hope. Wouldn't it be crazy if he didn't get it? If he gets like 2 strikeouts and he has to get it on the road after all that.
You know, I've been thinking about that too. Like, can you imagine being the guy who like is his 3,000 strikeout?
See, now that's what I was wondering. Do you want to be the guy? I think you do. Yeah. Al Downing made a living lecturing because what did he do? Dodger pitcher. What did Al Downing do in baseball lore? I'll give you a hint. No, it's a giveaway, but no. 715. No. 715. Because if I said 715, it'd give it away. Really? 715 doesn't tell you what he did? Hank Aaron's home run to break Babe Ruth's record. They were playing the Dodgers. I was. See, but if you live through it like I did, you do. And I was a Dodger fan. I was out swimming with Chris Williams, and my dad called us in, and we were sitting in my dad's den like this, and started shaking even more when Hank Aaron rounded second base because 2 white kids ran on the field And I literally thought he did. They're going to knife this man on national. I swear that's what I thought. Maybe I was just a cynical kid. And it's a great story, actually. Those two guys, true story. Go look it up. I don't make this stuff up downtown. The two guys ended up being doctors. And one of them, if not both of them, worked for the Braves. Isn't that crazy? They were young college students at the time. If you watch Henry Aaron hit 715, there are two things you'll notice. You'll see Bill Buckner try to climb the damn wall. Ball was hitting the bullpen. Tom Houseman caught it. Longtime reliever for the Braves. But Buckner wanted the ball so badly, he damn near climbed over the fence. And the other thing you'll notice is when he rounds first base, Garvey shakes his hand, Loeb shakes his hand, Bill Russell shakes his hand, and then these two white kids come out of nowhere and pat him on the back as he's going to third base. And that's when I thought he was going to, I really thought he was going to get knifed. But yeah, you remember, if you lived through it, you remember it was Al Downing that gave that up. And Downing made a living for a while going on lectures and talking about what pitch he gave up. So I think you do want to be the guy. Forever being a trivia question? Who was it that CK struck out for 3,000? Ralph Bailey. Who are they playing? No, it'll be the White Sox. It's a 3-game series. They play the White Sox tonight. Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the bump. And then the Astros. Then the cheaters are in town. Please stand by. Supervisor David Couch. H.A. Homer. Hank Aaron Homer. I thought he was talking about the Native American mascot for the Braves. Chief Nakahoma. Is there a better name than that? That was so, dude. And I used to go. I was in Atlanta when Fulton County Stadium still existed. One of the worst sports venues, worse than Candlestick Park, which is difficult, really difficult, because Candlestick Park was a mess. God, it was a mess. But he had a teepee. Listen to this. This is the 20th century for you. Because you could never, ever get away with this 21st century. They had him in a teepee above the bullpen in left field. Like literally a teepee. And before the game, before the first pitch, they would have him like the Florida State when they come out and they throw the jab. I almost said the javelin, a spear on the 50-yard line. They would have Chief Nakahoma come in, and I think on some occasions he would blow gas. You know what I'm saying? He would have gasoline in his mouth, and he'd and blow flames, and then like do a dance around the mound, and then sprint back to his teepee out in left field. That spinning noise you heard in the 70s, that would be Geronimo spinning in his grave. They made such a joke. And his name was Chief Nakahoma. That is the best mascot ever. But, all right, I'm sorry. I'm just rambling. I don't think CK is the best. I think he is regular season. Okay, maybe. But there were too many playoff blunders for my money. I'm just saying. 842-5376, 842-KERN. I'll just give you a little piece of the big, beautiful bill. I don't like this bill. I like the bill. I like what's in it. I understand the logic of it. That nobody that deserves to be on Medicaid or Medicare is coming off. The elderly, pregnant women, the infirm, boo, 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 boo. But that's not going to be the message. I could do the ad for you right now, targeting, because I think David Valdeo is one of the finest congressmen in the 435, the 435 members of Congress. And I am worried for him because I could do the ad. Do you know what the ad is? 30-second ad. You have different people from different genders, different demographics from 40 to 70, different races. And all they say into the camera is, you broke your promise to us, Congressman Valdeo. Boom, you broke your promise to us, Congressman. Just 15 different people. White, black, young, old, what, female, male, doesn't matter. All saying you broke your promise to us. And at the end, in black and in white letters, why did David Valadao vote to end Medicaid for so many people in our district? And he's susceptible. I'm not sure people are going to understand the logic and embrace this idea that we're getting lazy bums off the dime, off the dole, or off the government teat. I don't think they're going to understand that message. The only message they're going to understand is you told us no one would be taken off Medicaid, and they're being affected. And I think rural hospitals will be affected. I think overall care will be impacted. And at the same time, something has to be done. I just think you've got to be a little more surgical about this. And the House is talking about doing a vote as early as tomorrow. I don't know how they're going to pull this off with some of the Freedom Caucus, like Chip Roy and some of these guys still saying that they don't think that we cut enough. And there's that little D word called the deficit. And the fact that even the CBO is saying that it could be anywhere from 2.8 to $4 trillion that we add to the deficit. I like the bill. I like the fact that I'm not going to pay more taxes next year. I personally like the bill. I think politically, any chance we had of maintaining the House in the midterms, which I thought we could, when Trump was on this roll, the stock market is booming. We're starting to make some deals with the EU, with Ukraine, getting a little settled, maybe even Gaza, although that's picked up again. The Israelis are attacking yet again. But I thought there was a chance that a first-time president, and you got to consider him a first-time president since he's, in between terms, always loses the midterms, first midterms, always, always, always. And I thought there was a chance that we could save it. Now, if this thing does pass, now, the other thing you got to understand as well is we don't know what form this thing's going to pass. They're going to add amendments, and it will go back to the Senate, depending on what Chip Roy and the Freedom Caucus members add on to this thing. But I just think it makes Republicans susceptible. That's why I don't like the bill. And we're just waiting to hear what Dr. Jasmeet Bains is going to do. Because now you're going to have, Randy Villegas is a joke. The guy out of Visalia that's challenging Valadao, absolute joke. No chance in hell. But now you're going to have a medical woman running around that district saying, this guy that I'm going up against took people off Medicare or Medicaid. I just don't think that bodes well for him. I'm very concerned for Congressman Valadao. And there's no way he can vote no. I don't think. Unless he can be one of the three that they can lose, I suppose. Although he no longer has Kevin McCarthy running, roughshod for him. And you know what I'm alluding to. Mr. Valadao was one of the few congressmen that voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump, which would normally, under regular circumstances, if you didn't have the Speaker of the House, pulling guard for you, would be the end of your political career. I mean, we're just talking about going up against the president on a vote. Mr. Valadao voted to remove the guy, and he didn't primary him. Primarily, from what I heard, Kevin McCarthy saved the seat. Said we needed that seat. Valadao's a good guy. You need to give him a pass. We can't afford to let that seat get into a Democratic hands. And he gave Valadao a pass. Jasmeet Bains is going to bludgeon him with Medicaid. We've already seen it. You go to my house, if you drive to my house right now and go down 24th Street or 23rd Street, there are signs all along 23rd Street about cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicaid. That's going to be the message. And I don't know if voters can intellectually separate the work program, which is a positive one that I get, and just the promise not to take people off Medicaid. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back, check the board, see what you guys are talking about. Romeo Agbalag is going to join us at the top of the hour. And I've got some audio from the Disney cruise. Anything on Dad taking a selfie? Any confirmation? I find it hard to believe that a father would put her up on the railing. Although, you know, we're dealing with a local story where a mother left her 2 kids in a heated car, although she was 20 years old.
It does say while a man was taking a picture. So, yeah, she was sitting up on the railing of the 4th floor deck.
And he was taking a selfie.
While he was taking a picture either with her or of her.
Now you got to, if that's true, now you've got to wonder, what would be the jurisdiction? I guess Florida? Would they charge him with child endangerment? I mean, if when I'm 15 and I find out, Pop, you sat me up on a deal to take a picture on a boat, that's how I fell in? See, I thought Dad had the leverage. Girl, you better remember when I saved your behind. No, now the teenager. I want a car. You damn near killed me. I want a car. I want a Tesla. You damn near killed me when I was 5. You owe a sister. Oh, God. That could be a reason for divorce. That really could. That really could. Particularly if mom wasn't on the trip. Like if they're separated or divorced. Yep. It's going to be interesting whether they charge him with endangerment if that, in fact, is the case. Quick break. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, a busy, busy Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Look who's here. It's the Valpredo family from Luigi's Restaurant and Whole World Delicatessen. You know, I know everything begins with your incredible staff.
living it up with luxury. The others still paying off training loans. Angel signed 7 big brand deals this year. She even launched her own fancy drink line. Caitlin, she used her first WNBA paycheck to pay off years of training costs. She said, I know how it feels to stress about gym fees. I don't want any kid to go through that again. Check their socials. Angel posts jets, designer bags, and mansion pics. Caitlin shares training clips and charity links. Even her gear is mostly free from sponsors. And when it comes to spending, Angel dropped $500,000 on a surprise trip for her boyfriend. Caitlin used the— What do you need to do to—
Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Only thing I like. And most of it is because of the police. How do you get away with doing this?
Bylaws, I'm sure, that just say as long as you change it in any kind of way that it's, usable.
Well, then why did what's his name's kid? Robin Thicke's kid. Or was his name Robin?
Oh no,
Alan was the dad. Well, why did Robin Thicke get all thumped because of the Marvin Gaye deal?
because he ripped the beat itself, I believe. There was a whole bunch of technicalities with that. I'm not sure exactly why they got him on that.
Well, it's the same beat, the police thing.
You also have to pay, say if he reached out to the police and said, hey, I want to use your song, you have to pay them for that.
Or Sting. Is it Sting or the police?
Probably closer to the police or the record company that owned the music at the time.
Because he wasn't solo. That wasn't a solo. He was part of Sting when he did that, right?
Yeah, he was part of the police.
I mean, the police, yeah.
Yeah, he was not Sting.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Let's read a text message and get to the bottom of the hour.
Ralph, chili berry pork chop and Casey steak.
Yeah, that's really, really good, Vicky. That's a little too much for the kid. That's a little too much for the kid. But thanks for helping me on my choice. But that is really, 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 really good. You know what? No, I couldn't do it. Yeah, that does sound really, really good right now. That really does sound really good. I just poke and more poke on poke. It's just not good for an old man. Really? What's your BP?
I don't have the BP on me right now. I think it was good though. It was like 100 over 80. But my
100 over 80. What was your cholesterol? Oh, that's not bad. For 31, it's not good.
No, which is why she told me as long as I keep up my diet and whatnot.
Do you have a diet? You're 31 years old. You eat whatever the damn hell you want.
Oh no, I've been dieting for over a year.
Really?
Mostly chicken.
Yeah, I talk a good game, but I'll probably end up having the chicken breast with the spinach and mushroom sauce. It's so boring. Quick timeout. Back half of the hour. Romeo Agbalog at 5. I'd stick around if I you. Every move I make, every move you take, every one you take, every one you make, I'll be watching you. I watch your language. I still got this damn thing on. So where you got CK? Kershaw. Where you got Kershaw? Because statistically, tomorrow night, he's going to be the greatest Dodger pitcher ever. No Dodger pitcher.
What is the one thing that comes with being the best?
Dude, I told you the story. I went home. I left here 5-0.
He was up 7-0 when they lost.
That might have been. My memory's so bad.
Was it St. Louis?
Then, yeah, I remember it as 5. You're right. And he had never given up. He'd never lost. That's what it was. You're right. It was 7, and he had never given up a lead with 5 or more. And by the time I got home, it was 8-7. I left here 7-0. By the time I got home, which is a 6-minute freaking drive, it was 7-7, and then they went up. That's what I'm saying.
He's behind Koufax.
Thank you. That's where I started.
Drysdale.
Thank you. I said the same thing.
Oral Hershiser.
Thank you. Even though he went to the Giants.
That's fine, but he was good. He was a
He was
a champion.
He won the 88 World Series.
Exactly.
He got us to the World Series, first of all.
And it carried you.
When he brought him in on a day's rest and beat the Mets to get us in the World Series, and then was unhittable in the World Series. He won that World Series. I got Fernando ahead of him. I got Fernando. I got him like 4th or 5th.
I just didn't know Fernando's overall stats. They're probably not.
They don't touch him. That's what I'm saying. Statistically, he's like Derek Carr. Statistically,
Yeah, you're great.
Carr is by far.
Yeah.
But come on,
When he
over
was the
Stabler.
man- When he was the man, they didn't win.
Yeah,
And it was because of him.
because he couldn't do it in the
didn't
playoffs.
pitch well. Yeah,
No, he did.
pitch well.
He really did.
So he's not that high, but he's fucking pitching well again right now.
He looks great. He looked good the other day.
It's just his longevity.
Yeah. Yeah. Is he still going to be like this in October? It's all about that curveball. When he
Yeah, because then the fastball
looks faster. Because he's only throwing 90 miles an hour. Hey, that ain't nothing. Yeah. Yep. What's the other I got? Just the cruise?
Yeah, just the package, right? Because that's actually what I was
Yeah. I'm about to play it right now.
Live 9 to noon, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show. Live 9 to noon. Now back to the Brand New Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What are you laughing at?
We just got done saying we didn't like any of it. Clearly vibe into this one.
Doing the Trump. Isn't this another ripoff?
Probably. Again, most of his songs are. That's why I wasn't really huge on him as an artist. There's not a lot of great.
What song was that? You can't stop. I'm going down. I'm trying not to lose my head. Da-da-da-da. That's the beat he stole, right? Isn't that the song? Makes you wonder. What song is that? Can you hear me at all? Can you not hear that song? Can you hear the song that I'm doing? Isn't that the same beat? Play it again. It's yeah. No, I guess not.
The lyrics are the same.
Yeah.
That one part, but the beat is still good.
I almost feel sorry for the guy. I don't either. I said almost, but I don't.
Let's go with JR. It's like I feel like even with the racketeering, you should just throw it in there. Like I don't see why we're even talking about this. You know he did all of it, so just this should be like a little okay, we're done. Like he did it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being heartless about it because I'm just like at this point we all know he did it. So just the racketeering should be a walk in the park.
Is anybody recognizing the fact that you have last night's promo that we cut out of the show? Get last night's promo. Is anybody recognizing the fact that the political prophet once again predicted that by 3:00 Tuesday, when I came to do this broadcast, that the verdict would be in? Is anybody recognizing that? Y'all call in when I'm the mush and I get Coco Gauff booted out of Wimbledon because I predicted she was going to win and she loses in the first round. Okay, fine, I'm the mush. But you got to give me on predictions. This is last night's promo.
So the defense and the prosecution have rested, and the fate of Sean Combs is in the hands of a New York jury. I think we'll have a verdict no later than Monday, and I think Sean Combs is going to prison for the rest of his natural life.
Okay, actually, I was off. I was 24 hours off, and I'm probably wrong about him going to jail for the rest of his life. We'll see. They'll come back tomorrow. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got? John, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show. Good. How are you, John? Not bad. Could be better. I shot an 89 on Sunday out at Sundale, 45-44, and still making stupid mistakes, but I'll take bogey golf. I don't mind. Yeah, I'm hitting the ball really well. That's what's most important. I drove the ball pretty well. Oh, nice.
Beautiful day. Beautiful day. He shot a 75, so that's not too bad, but won't win a tournament.
No, 75 for it was a scramble?
Yeah, it was scramble, yeah.
Yeah, 75, the 3 over par. That scramble. Dude, that's horrible. I don't mean to make funny, bro. That's not. Yeah, I was gonna say you can't make bogeys. You can't make bogeys in a scramble, bro. You can't. You got 4 shots at it. Y'all got to at least make par. Yeah, I'm right there with you. Right there with you. What do you got? Wow, that's great information. That's incredible. That's good to hear, though. I'm glad. I want nothing good for this guy. I really don't. Yeah. Good. All right. Thanks for the info. I appreciate that. All right, man. Take care. Of course, I had to go to a calculator. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think that is? $2,000 a day. What do you think that is a year? Ooh. Talk to me. Talk to me. If you get the zeros right, you're right on. Talk to me. 730. Come on, say it. Say it. Say it. How much? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. What did you get on the math SAT? You did not take the SATs? So you blew off the SAT? How'd you know in 11th grade you were going to go to BC?
Because I didn't have the money to go to an actual college that I wanted to, so I had pre-planned to just go to BC because it was cheaper.
And you blew off the SATs? I've never heard of that. I didn't take the ACT. I didn't take the ACT. But I thought you had to take the SAT.
That's what I thought too, but apparently the way it was explained to me and my friends at Garces, you do not have to unless you absolutely wanted to go to a different school or planned to go there. And honestly, I just knew that I was going to be at BC. So.
Interesting. You know what Gavin Newsom got on his SATs? 950. That's horrible. That's not even. I got an 1190 and I got a 480 on the math. I got the worst math score in the history of the Brentwood School, and I still got 1190. No, it helped me because I was going to be an English major and I got a 690 on the English. Oh, you're right. Well, yeah, if you come from millionaire family, it doesn't matter what you get a 0. You don't have to take the SAT. I'm surprised he didn't take it. Numbskull. But it shows what an idiot he is. Just saying. 842-5376, 842-KERN. It doesn't mention the father propping his child up for a selfie, but here is a package that I found on the Disney Cruise Miracle Save.
Unfortunately, some witnesses said that the father was never able to grab onto one of those life vests because he was so focused on holding his daughter and treading water for 20 minutes in the open ocean. Additionally, the ship was moving very quickly. Imagine treading water for 20 minutes in a calm pool. Now imagine that in the ocean with waves, the uncertainty of what's below you, all while holding on to your daughter.
Took everybody's breath away, to be honest. So very nerve-wracking, to say the least. But as a father, like I said, I would have done the same.
One witness said that she heard the mother crying out for help, but everyone that we spoke to said that Disney acted quickly.
It's crazy how quickly the people became little tiny dots in the sea, and then you lost sight of them. The captain slowed the ship, turned it around, and then they deployed a tender ship with people on there to go get them, and we saw them rescue the dad and daughter.
We did get a statement from Disney thanking their crew members who have been trained to handle this exact situation. They said thanks to their crew members, the father and the daughter, they were saved within minutes. As for exactly how this happened, at this hour, it's unclear. Witnesses said that 4-year-old girl, or potentially a little bit older than 4 years old, fell from the 4th floor deck, which does have plexiglass around it.
See, that's why I assumed if you listen to the package, you heard her say a plea went out for Mr. Mob. And I assumed, and that's always gets you in trouble, that meant that the dad was being summoned, that he wasn't at the scene, he wasn't part of the accident, that they had to summon him. And I thought I heard another witness say that she heard him running, saw him running to the site. Maybe she fell in and he ran back to get help and then jumped in. Because why, if he's right there, do they put out the plea for Mr. Mob, meaning man overboard? I mean, maybe that's just a general call when somebody falls, but I thought that the dad was being summoned. That's why I assumed that he wasn't part of the crime, but apparently might have been. Let's go ahead and take a break. And we come back, we'll check the board. You got some stuff left before we get Mr. Agbalog in here at the top of the hour? We'll read some of your text messages. Coming up at the 5, we'll talk with Romeo Agbalog, special advisor to the chancellor at Kern Community College District, the Bakersfield College, Porterville College, and Saracoso Community College. Talk a little sports. A couple of big upsets, all on the women's side. Coco Gauff, the number 2 seed, is headed back to America. Her young fortnight in London is over after a day. However, Ben Shelton, Taylor Fritz barely hanging on. He's the 5 seed. But we've got a couple of Americans who might have a shot. You're the host of the Early Bird Special with Stephen Nicholas, sports guy. Who was the last American to win at Wimbledon? American male. Of course it was Serena. I would guess, I think you got to go all the way back to maybe like Agassi, maybe Sampras even. Who? No, he's English. That was the reason for the huge victory. Yeah, I can't. Who else? Isn't that amazing that women's tennis is more proliferated with Americans than men? Because none of y'all have heard of Ben Shelton. I bet none of y'all heard of Taylor Fritz. And he's the 5 seed. Let me guess. Since you didn't say you're right, I'm going to rule out Agassi and Sampras. I have no idea. Wow, 25 years ago. Cool ass Pete. Who did he marry? Did he marry like a Playboy, or was that Jimmy Connors married the Playboy bunny? He married a celebrity, didn't Sampras? Who was Bridget Wilson?
She's an American actress, model, singer, songwriter, and beauty queen.
Told you.
Oh, it's the teacher from Billy Madison.
Ah, really? That's who he married, Bridget Wilson? Makes sense. He's a Peninsula boy, as is Tracy McGrady.
I think I'm going to say the name of the guy, which is going to mess me up here.
Dick Tracy. Tracy Reed. I had a crush on her in 7th grade. She was a cheerleader. She was a year older than I was, though. Who are we talking about? Yeah, let's go. I need water.
Somewhat humorous tongue. We try to be fun. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's fun. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show. Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Cashback is unavailable on gas in New Jersey, Wisconsin. $5,000.
Do you want to do Casey?
Yeah.
Crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right, you can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code WEALTH25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code WEALTH25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You know what I've learned from our Battle of the Bartenders, where I was representing the Stockyard, which is the speakeasy type bar right next to Casey's Steakhouse, owned and operated by Casey's Steakhouse owner Cassie Biddle. A lot of you guys aren't hip to the Stockyard. A lot of you who go to Casey's Steakhouse aren't aware of the speakeasy right next door. You should check it out. If you just go in and look at the layout, it is called the Stockyard, but it's set up like a speakeasy. Cassie literally has a door opening, which is a book panel where you kind of push through it. If you know anything about speakeasies in the 1920s, that's the way they did it to get around Prohibition. And that's the whole theme of the entire restaurant. They have live music Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. They have a banquet room for meetings. You can have dinner. They have craft cocktails. It has really been an absolute game changer for Casey's Steakhouse. And after the 4th of July, you don't want to deal with cooking. Get into Casey's Steakhouse. Where would you rather be than on F Street in the capable hands of Cassie Biddle's incredible staff at Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of The Ralph Bailey Show. How much time I got? 30 seconds?
Everything is fine. We have brand new waterproof floors from Carpet Outlet Plus. You can find everything you need for family-proof floor at Bakersfield's best flooring store. Now offering 1 year, no interest financing. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks less than 99 on Rosedale Highway. Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox. 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Just don't like it. Just don't like it. I don't get it. Was this one of his hits? I don't get it. I don't get it. You know how many steps I took yesterday? Because I'm not taking my walks at the top and bottom of the hour. 8K? Like 1,000. But check this out. I rode with one of the players Sunday. Okay, so last week I had to drive by myself and I got like 7,000 steps playing golf. I rode with Dean, a real cool cat who I didn't really know and I got to know. He's a funny guy. And we split a beer on the 17th hole because I was about to collapse again. I got to the 16th where I put it in the water and I was just exhausted. I literally was like, hey, Dean, I'm going to ride with you because normally if I hit it around the green or if I hit the green, which I'm starting to do now more regularly, I'll just grab my putter and my wedge and just walk from the fairway. So I got 7,000 steps when I had to drive by myself. How many steps do you think I got driving with Dean? 4,000? You thought I got fewer steps? Chris, that don't make no sense. Yeah. No, it has to be more because I'm walking now. 12,500. See the difference? It's like 5,000 steps. Because I'll even we have to cross, if you're familiar with Sunnydale, you even have to cross the street from hole 1 to 2. Sometimes I'll even walk there, because by the time I get there, some of the guys that we play with play from the gold. So by the time I get there, I can still hit. I just love getting 12, 13,000 steps. It's a big difference. I have no idea why I'm sharing this with you. No idea. No. Can't do it. Not yet. I'm a couple years away, Jack. I'm going to be there in a minute, but I can't do it. I just, because some of these guys that are playing from the gold are in their 70s, but they're still better players than I am, which kind of ticks me off a little bit, particularly when we get to 17, because it's just a different shot. It's like a different course. The water isn't even, there's a lot, you don't realize Sunnydale, there is a lot of water on 17. I'm losing a ball just about every time I play now. I told you 2 weeks ago, I left in the water on 17 and 18. This time I went par on 17 and 18, but I put in the water on 16. Popped up a 5-wood and put in the water. There's a lot of water. You got to drive over water on 15. You got to come back across the water on 16. You got to go back over that water on 17. And there's a lake in front of the 18th green. We'll start playing those $50 or the $77 bag of used yellow Titleist that I got suckered into. So stupid. I really thought you could get 50 golf balls for $77. How dumb do I look? Pretty doggone dumb. What do you got on the board?
I 100 do not want to hear any Diddy songs.
Yeah, I probably hit my quota. I don't mind heating. I just thought, theme show. We're about to watch this man walk the plank. They better put his ass in jail. God dang it.
Honestly, after seeing what happened with the Wander Franco situation last week, I don't think he's going to get that much. Franco 10 years for sure, at least with human trafficking. So he's in there a decade.
I think he ought to be locked up for the rest of his life. I really do. I really do. What else you got?
This new YouTube channel brings back old memories of your time at the other radio station.
Oh, there's an old listener. Yeah, that was great. I love that. I really did. We had like a computer, and I guess we could still do that, right? Where we could like talk with the listeners. Can we do that?
That's what that little text line is right there.
Where?
To your right, you look at
The chat?
that long. Yeah, that's all the listeners.
Oh, is that them talking? Oh, I see that. It was John that said that. Can't hear your producer.
Unfortunately, we don't have the secondary camera set up at the moment.
Can we get a split screen with Ralph on one side and Chris on the other? It would be interesting to see what Chris is doing when Ralph admonishes him. I don't admonish you. Do I admonish you? I don't admonish you. You should make an old Diddy day. This is cool. Try it. And I see you, Pops. Can't hear callers on here. Please don't let this be Daily Dave. Oh, don't be bagging on Daily Dave. What's the matter with y'all? We love Daily Dave. Really? Yeah, we're here for Daily Dave. One more, and let's get Mr. Agbalag in here.
Black women didn't give Nicole Brown Simpson any sympathy.
What's that got to do with anything?
Not sure. That was a little bit.
Because I'm assuming that was in reaction to me saying black folks would be harder on Combs than white folks. But I'm not sure what Nicole Brown Simpson has to do with this. You know why the jury voted not guilty? It had nothing to do with OJ. Had nothing to do with OJ. It had to do with Rodney King. It had to do with Johnny Cochran. They were rooting for Johnny Cochran. They weren't rooting for OJ. And you know how I hate to get into this conversation about blackdom and who's black and who's not, but OJ, and the funniest thing about OJ and his affiliation, because at some level you when you make a lot of money, you hang out with more white folks than you do black folks. That's just the nature of life in America. You know what I'm saying? But the funniest thing about OJ was after he dodged the bullet, he suddenly he went to church on Crenshaw Boulevard. He was hanging out in the black neighborhoods. He was doing just all this stuff that he'd never done in his life. That boy had never been on the other side of the 405 since he went to SC. He's a Brentwood boy. And then after he gets acquitted, all of a sudden he's going to church at a black church on Crenshaw Boulevard. He's being seen in black malls and okay. The Kern County Hispanic Chamber is improving its brand, and they're using Romeo Agbalag as part of that. We'll explain when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're going to change the camera angle? You're going to change the camera angle for Romeo? So these are the text messages?
Well, I mean, not the ones that come to me, but they're the ones that go to YouTube. Yeah. Like people can text in whenever they're watching you at any point in time.
Oh, excuse me. They love the stream, says Alan. I didn't know they can't hear you, though.
Right now, they can usually, or we'll have that fixed by tomorrow. I didn't realize that we never set up the second microphone. Which, speaking of which, grab that microphone underneath the camera. I'm sorry, underneath the computer. That gray box is Comic Con.
This or this?
That. No, hold on, because that's how your microphones work.
He might be calling it.
No, he's here.
Oh, he's here?
He's here. Yeah, he's sitting in the way.
Okay.
Wait for me to go grab him.
All right, I'll go grab him. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Just have him put this on his.
My feet is heightened. What's up?
There he is.
Mr. Council. Is that you? Come on in.
How you been?
Good, man. What's been going on? Yeah, no kidding. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do this summer. I know. Right here. We're doing YouTube live now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So I just had you put that little phone light on right there, probably about second button right here on your collar. You should be good to go.
Is that about right?
Yeah, perfect.
I need the headset and all that too.
If you want to use it, you can. You don't necessarily have to.
Okay.
So this is the Community Spotlight Series. Is that what they're calling it?
Yeah, it's a little project that they got going on over at the Hispanic Chamber.
And you're the first?
No, they've had a few. I'm probably the fourth or the fifth, maybe.
All right. And do you know any other people?
T. Johnson.
Really?
Yeah.
Who else?
Other names I don't recognize. But
yeah. Not Bowers?
He might be coming down the pipeline.
I would assume at some point.
Yeah, I think so.
He called it again. I've been calling it the Bowers Doctrine. When I said, man, it's not going to get through the House. And he was like, at the end of the day, they'll all get in line.
Yeah.
And he was right.
You're
I
right.
was blown away this morning twice.
Yeah.
Blown away by that.
Yeah.
And blown away by the Diddy verdict.
You got to tell Bowers that every time you give him credit for the Bowers Doctrine, he owes you a cocktail.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I actually saw him about an hour ago. Actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. We
You invited him to join us? We got him a cocktail tonight?
We could. I bet he'll be down to go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
starving. I haven't eaten. I need a steak tonight.
Let's do it.
I need some protein.
You want to do KC? You want to do Mexicali? Where do you want to go?
So you got Mexicali stuck in my head.
Mexicali has a great steak, by the way. You know that, right?
They do. That New York is killer.
It's killer. Yeah.
It really is.
That's
You're
enough.
right.
That's enough to take home. Yeah, it's a healthy portion. It's actually pretty good.
Although I need to get rid of some of the script. My script, that's the problem.
Oh,
my script starts to build up.
Oh, I got
get
you.
like 2 bills, every month. In fact, they owe me today, as a matter of fact.
Oh my.
I keep saying I'm just going to have like one big party.
That's the
Do
word.
it all at once.
Jay Tamsy just texted me. He said, "Tell Ralph I said hello, and yes, you're a game changer." LOL.
So that's what they're calling it, the community. Community spotlight
Game changer.
game
Yeah.
changer? Okay.
Yeah. What else is going on? You can-
Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot, man. I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to do this summer. My birthday's coming up in August. And I normally go to Vegas.
Yeah.
But I just got back from Vegas a couple of months ago where I won. Like big time. Like one playing poker, one playing blackjack, one betting on basketball. So I know I'm going to lose my behind. You know what I'm saying?
Vegas
What are
didn't
the
take
chances
it
you
back.
having back-to-back Vegas trips
Yeah.
where you come home with money?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking, and then my boys that I play with at Sundale on Sunday, 20, some of those guys, they're going to Pismo at the end of the month for like 4 days, just play golf and drink and eat.
Do that.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, do
That's
that.
what I'm thinking. Throw that on, and that silver button controls your volume. Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, first day of July. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. Still lots to do in the final hour. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, talk a little sports. Dodgers start a 3-game series against the Chicago White Sox, one of the worst teams in baseball. actually one of the worst teams in baseball history. Yoshinobu Yamamoto taking the bump tonight. Clayton Kershaw goes tomorrow night, and he's 3 strikeouts away from 3,000 strikeouts. We'll talk about that at the bottom of the hour. Get you caught up on Wimbledon. A couple of Americans have passed through round 1, except for one on the female side. Coco Gauff got shocked today. Still kind of reeling from her French Open Championship win. I think you could have predicted this. It's hard for a 21-year-old girl to be feted and honored and just everywhere you go. Congratulations, Coco. Congratulations, Coco. Congratulations, Coco. And then you got to reset and get ready. And you got an Arena Sabalenka who is hot, figuratively and literally. And she went up against a tough opponent. And even at the beginning of the day, Chrissy Everett was like, I'm concerned about this for Coco. She lost because they have like a grass court tune-up before Wimbledon, and she lost in the first round of that. So this was not shocking. The only shock was that she got her butt whipped. And you're going to read that it was 7-6, 6-1. The 7-6 wasn't even that close. She was down 5-3 and battled back and got it into a tiebreaker. And the Ukrainian girl destroyed her in the tiebreaker and then just continued and whipped her in the second set. You only need 2. It's 2 out of 3 for women, 3 out of 5 for the men. In the meantime, as I've talked about, the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is expanding its brand. They have come up with what they're calling the Community Spotlight Game Changers. You know what I call them. I call them one of those people. And our next guest, Romeo Agbalog, is one of those people and a game changer and part of their campaign as special advisor to the chancellor at the Kern Community College District. How are you, sir?
Good afternoon, Ralph. Thanks for having me.
I, honest to God, thought you were just describing what you did when you said, I'm special counsel to the chancellor. I thought you were just like, you'd call him up and give him some advice. I didn't know it was like a title, a position. You are the right-hand man to the chancellor, Jack.
Well, I'm something, Ralph, that's for sure. But thanks for having me on, and thanks for highlighting the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the program that they've got going on, highlighting individuals in this community who've done above and beyond to make Kern County a better place. I feel honored to be recognized as a game changer. Frankly, I don't feel like I'm much of one at all.
Oh, come on.
We just do what we're supposed to do and do what's right by folks and work hard and try to make Kern County better.
Yeah. It's incredible what Jay Tamsey, my next door neighbor, has done with the chamber and how they continue to expand their brand and doing other things. And I think they're more active than the Bakersfield Chamber, certainly more than the Black Chamber. I think they're the most active chamber in our city. I really believe that.
The 2 consistent themes that I like to hit on when I talk about the Kern County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce to the folks is education, outreach, education, outreach, education, outreach, whether they're teaching folks skills to become successful entrepreneurs or trying to help people navigate through the bureaucracy of regulation, of starting a business, whether it's teaching folks about energy and agriculture, whether it's just being part of the community and being woven into the community so that we have a robust community, not just in terms of business, but the way we treat one another as human beings. They do a wonderful job.
Yeah. I thought I don't know whether you sent it to me or Bauer sent it to me, maybe Tamsey sent it to me, but what I liked about it was they did like a more thorough interview than I've ever done with you, where they basically asked, who is Romeo Agbalog? So I asked, who is Romeo Agbalog? Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to high school? How did you get involved in being one of those people in our community?
Well, some people might argue I haven't grown up yet, but, I think that just to kind of summarize it, I'm in a really good spot where I continue to do the work that I feel passionate about in the areas of education. If you go on their Facebook post or their social media, Instagram, I think is where I saw the post on the Game Changer series for myself. And I tell a little bit about my history and how I got into the world of education, government, politics, and so on and so forth. It was really by accident and by way of necessity.
Yeah.
Here I was as a kid and I earned my education in a way that I don't really recommend people do it, but I became a father at a very young age, at the age of 17.
Really?
I had to go to work, I had to provide, and I had to figure it out. And turns out, by happenstance, there was a large logistics services company out in Delano, where I live, who's hiring students for the summer. I went over and applied for a job and realized very quickly I wasn't going to qualify because I wasn't an existing student. I had just graduated high school. Now, thanks be to God, there was somebody who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, but the hiring manager said, young man, I will set a position aside for you on one condition. You go back to school. I don't care where you go. I don't care what class you take. I don't care what you study. Just go back to school and you'll have a job.
Right.
So I hustled over all the way across town to the Delano Campus Center. This is Bakersfield College's satellite campus in Delano.
What year is this?
This is a 1997.
Wow.
And so I hustle over, ignorant about the registration process, didn't know I had to take an assessment, didn't know that I had to meet with the counselor. I just needed a job.
Right.
Those folks there were saints. They had the patience. They walked me through the process. And I was about a week and a half into the semester. So all of the popular classes are full. The only section that was open for registration was political science. And I signed up for that class, did well. And that class is what put me on a trajectory to earn internships, volunteer, get hired by elected officials, run nonprofit organizations, and now ultimately become special or senior advisor to the chancellor of the Kern Community College.
Senior advisor, excuse me.
Senior.
I think I said special advisor.
Well, yeah.
Senior advisor.
Some
sounds
people would
better.
argue I'm special in other ways too, and senior certainly not in terms of age, but no, that's how it all happened, Ralph.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is.
So when you go back to it, you think about whether it was my tenure on the board of trustees or the work that I'm doing now, there's a special place in my heart for community colleges and in particular rural communities, because but for Bakersfield College, I wouldn't be in the situation that I'm in today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen the job opportunities. I wouldn't have been challenged to do the things that it is that I did.
Yeah. What is going on with the Kern Community College District? Bakersfield College, Saracosa College, and Porterville College. We all know that there's a lot of change going on. New athletic director, new president. What's going on? What is the goal in 2025 for the Kern Community College District?
Well, since you mentioned goal 2025, I think I can speak to you kind of in global terms. You know, the Board of Trustees approved very recently a new strategic plan for Bakersfield College. This is a strategic plan. Of course, you've heard the saying, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So strategic plan is important. It focuses on a variety of different areas. And let me just go on a few touch points here, but focuses on workforce development, career technical ed, and aligning our academic programs with industry needs.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before in the past when you've had me on the show, how critical that is.
Yeah.
You know, here we are in Kern County where we're leaders in agriculture, oil and gas, renewable energy, defense and aerospace. Yet, if you look at the statistics here, 25 and older, individuals who live within the BC service area that are 25 and older, about 18% have four-year degrees. So if we're going to continue to lead in all these areas, that number, that baccalaureate degree attainment rate has to go up. So some of the things that the strategic plan is going to hyper-focus on is baccalaureate degree attainment, helping increase the pipeline to transfer, more associate degrees with transfer, aligning curriculum and programs with industry needs. There's one thing in particular I think you're going to find very interesting here soon and very soon. You're going to see a brand new 35-foot mobile virtual laboratory that we're going to be able to take to all of the three colleges within the Kern Community College District, Porterville College, Saracosa Community College, Bakersfield College, and we're going to bring that mobile lab to the campus to expose students to careers that they never envisioned by way of virtual reality.
Yeah.
So you think about it, it's integrating technology into all disciplines. So can you imagine going into a mobile lab and using virtual reality, all of a sudden be thrust into an environment, say in the area of healthcare? And then, perhaps maybe it's career technical ed or welding. It's just, it runs the gamut. You know, the options are unlimited.
Yeah. I don't mean to drag you into politics, although that is kind of your bailiwick. What do you think of the big, beautiful bill and how that's going to impact healthcare?
Well, you know, Ralph, in December of last year, I decided to hang my hat as a trustee. So, I don't opine too much about political matters so much anymore, aside from how they impact education. I'll just say this kind of in general terms. And, people are trying their level best to do the right thing by people. They always have different ideas and processes and how to get there. In terms of healthcare, I think it's an important thing. I mean, going back to the strategic plan for the Bakersfield College strategic plan, we focus on something in particular, mental health, and that's a critical need. It's a need that a lot of our students oftentimes require from time to time.
Yeah.
We have a very large service territory with the Kern Community College District. We span across multiple counties, very diverse geographical regions that don't have mental health services. Actually, Mr. Bowers and his associates have been on our campus at Bakersfield College with a mobile mental health van to offer services to students who require it and need it. They're looking at moving that mobile health unit to Porterville and anywhere else in the district where our students need it.
Yeah. Romeo Agbalog is our guest. He is part of the Kern Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Community Spotlight. He's a game changer. He's a senior advisor to the chancellor. Let's get back to the Kern Community College District. And we talked about acquiring a 4-year degree. Do you see, and we've talked about this in the past, do you see a time when BC is going to be having more 4-year degrees offered to their students?
I think so.
Because I don't think people realize how difficult it is to transfer it. Because I just found this out, how difficult it is to transfer and how low numbers of kids are transferring from BC to CSUs.
Yeah, we've talked about this, Ralph, and I'll tell you, Bakersfield College has a 4-year baccalaureate degree program in industrial automation. They've gone through several cohorts of students already, each year almost doubling in size, with every student from that cohort getting a job before the time they get their degree.
Right.
And all of this is done for approximately $10,000 for the 4 years. So you think about it, there's plenty of space for expansion. The need is there. We're not necessarily competing against 4-year colleges or universities because there's enough to go around. The need is that great. Specifically, the number I shared with you earlier, where we have 18% of individuals within the BC service area who 25 and older have a bachelor's degree. Certainly, we need to do a lot more in order to continue to lead in the industries I mentioned.
Yeah, because the problem is the CSUs and the UCs want the community colleges to stay in their lane and just stick to providing 2-year colleges, 2-year degrees.
Well, last year there were a couple of bills that were going through the legislature that would have created a pilot program to allow 15 community colleges within the state of California to offer a bachelor's degree in nursing. Made it through the process, wasn't signed by the governor. They're taking another run at it again this year.
Good.
The hope is that it will get through and be signed. Because frankly, it's not an issue of competition between the CSUs or even the private schools that are offering nursing degrees. The need is so great, there's enough to go around.
Exactly. That's what I don't understand, why they're kicking and fighting this thing.
And here's the thing. I mean, one of the things I guess I could tease a little bit. Coming down the pipeline, we'll have more information for you later down the road. But think about this. What if we were to do a college discovery academy for students as young as 3rd grade to go into the college setting, learn a little bit about college, introduce them to the college going culture, get them to experience a campus, see what it's like to do a little bit of college courses so that we whet their appetite as they go through the process of 3rd grade all the way into middle school, then high school, with our early college program and dual enrollment. Now we've got students who've got a head start. So when they get to the community college, they're closer to transferring.
Right.
In fact, with our early college program, as you know, Ralph, we've talked about before, we have students now who are graduating high school with a 2-year degree.
Yep.
They can go straight into a 4-year school, college, university, or private institution as a junior.
Yeah. Talk about game changer.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congratulations. I'm running out of time. Always great to talk to you.
Likewise, Ralph. Always a pleasure.
Keep up the great work that's going on at Kern Community College District. Say hello to the chancellor.
We'll do that. Appreciate you.
Romeo Agbalog. I call him the genius, senior advisor to the chancellor. Take a quick time out. We'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. We'll get into some sports. Bottom of the hour. Wrap this thing up. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. Our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. And I do believe we will finally have a verdict on all 5 counts on Sean Combs. We'll see what happens. Quick break. Coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KRN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. Thank you, my brother.
No, you want me to stick around? I'll give you a ride. We'll go to KC straight from here.
So I reattach this to the Chris. I reattach this to the headphones. I didn't know you had those tats on you. Look at your freaking arm.
You know I had tattoos?
I've never seen that.
Shenanigans.
I
This is
swear to
not
God.
the first time
I
you've seen my
swear to
tattoos.
God, I've never
Dude,
seen
I've
that.
had this over a year. I've had these well over
I
a
don't know
year.
why I've never seen that.
That is wild. I did not know you didn't know I had tattoos.
Who is that?
It's a anime character. Or a character from a show.
661-449-1150. 661-449-1150 or online at
You know, that freaking pork chop started.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's
And
why
have
I
it
told my
tomorrow
husband
for,
we
with
could
some
not
eggs.
put off getting life insurance any longer.
Have for breakfast with some scrambled eggs. Ooh.
For nearly $50 a month. Then we called Select Quote.
I was gonna say, she's got, I should caution.
Only $19.
Hey Siri,
A savings of
call Cassie
$369
KC.
a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5
She's got
million
to be over
policy,
the 4th of July.
Select Quote could save you more than 50% on term life
I
insurance.
would think
For
she
your
would.
free quote, call Select Quote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to
Hello, gorgeous.
selectquote.com.
Hey, are you open Friday?
743-8080. That's 1-800.
Okay, all right, I'll pump that up.
Select Quote. We
Okay,
shop
but you're open Saturday.
Details on example
Okay.
policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Okay, sweet. All right, thanks. All right, bye. Love you.
Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM
Malog, the genius. That's what I call him. He's one of the smartest cats I've ever met. He really, really is. And one of the savviest political cats. And I shouldn't have drawn him in. He's an educator now. I shouldn't have drawn him into politics, but I feel like I'd be negligent if I didn't get his opinion. But and being the genius that he is, he kind of stepped it and got it back to education. 842-537-6842 KERN. What do you got?
Ralph, get a T-bone. It has both.
My dad loved the T-bone because my dad used to say it's a filet and a New York at the same time. Because the little flank piece is that little soft tender piece. My dad loved that part of the steak. My dad was a T-bone guy. No, I'm more of the New York or the filet, and I'm thinking filet. But if you were a betting man, bet that I get the chicken. I'm so boring. I get the same thing, and I'm thinking, you really don't need to be eating a steak middle of the week. You know what I'm saying? Chicken a whole lot better for a brother. But I'm just feeling protein. Like I said, I had a tuna fish sandwich for dinner last night. Daily Dave. You know it's bad when I can predict the callers. Dave, what's really going on?
Hey, brother, just gonna be glued tomorrow to the TV to watch our boy get 3K.
3,000, yeah. Let's hope so.
No, I think so. My dad and I have watched just about every game since the beginning of the season, and he has really thrown well.
Yeah.
The speed isn't high.
Hey, he's 4-0.
But he's throwing pinpoint accuracy.
It's that curveball. When his curveball's on, he's as good as anybody in the game, if you ask me.
He's setting them up.
Yep.
Yeah, he's mowing them down.
Gets ahead in the count.
Yeah, and look at our Dodgers. We're ahead by many games. It's incredible.
7.5 up on the Padres, 8 against the Giants. I told everybody, because going up until like June, we had not played the Giants or the Padres, and then we played them like the Padres 7 times inside of 2 weeks. Played the Giants a couple of times, and now I don't think we see the Padres again until like
August.
Yeah, late August. But yeah, we're 7.5 games up. The Padres have been 5-5, and they're on a 2-game losing streak. The Giants have been 3-7 and on a 3-game losing streak. And all the while, we've been 7-3. And what's amazing about this Dodger club, we're not even playing that well. We're really not playing that well. We have not even. Yes, exactly.
And our first baseman, and even Tommy isn't doing that good, or our right fielder's not doing that good. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
But anyway, Max Muncy's been carrying the load, and it's a total team effort.
It is. Bottom of the lineup is coming through finally. Thanks for the call, Dave. I got to fly, man. Where's my man, Michael Conforto? He had Conforto and Kim in the lineup the other day. I don't know how you sit Kim. He's hitting like 380. But Conforto's coming around. Max Muncy is one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now. All you need to do is have Ralph Bailey bag on him on TRBS, and these people come alive. Last half hour of the broadcast, I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN
God, you're on an empty
Cedars
stomach.
in Washington. The University of
It's just more
Pennsylvania
tired.
says it will update records set by transgender
That's why you're
swimmer Leah
pressing out on
Thomas.
that first, too.
The college
I know.
also will apologize.
Well, I can't eat. We tee off at 7.
We're disadvantaged by Thomas's
Sure, so
participation.
I should just-
on the women's swimming team.
Yeah.
The moves
Or maybe
require
grab like a
violation of federal civil
Egg
rights
McMuffin on the way to the
Thomas
course or
will
something. I don't
violate the
know.
rights of female
Running
athletes.
McDonald's first.
Thomas, a transgender swimmer who last
Yeah,
competed
I
for the
guess.
Ivy League school
Or just
in
maybe
Philadelphia
even
in
just a little thing of
2022,
oatmeal
was
as
the
I'm getting
first and
dressed.
only transgender
That's why
athlete
you're
to win
passing
a
out.
Division I.
I get to the man. I got to the
Trump
16th. I
administration
told you 2 weeks ago I damn near fainted, or 3 weeks ago when I was playing with Tommy and them. Yeah, because it was a 9:50 tea time, and I hadn't eaten.
Your blood
And,
sugar hit an all-time low. And I said,
Mhm.
"Ooh, shutdown
More
time."
details at SRN News.
but I mean, I was talking right before I walked into the clubhouse. We just finished, and I was talking to this guy, and I was standing there, and I wouldn't describe it as dizzy, but where I kind of like lost myself, where I like didn't really hear what he was saying, and I was just, but standing up, yes, and I was like, Jesus,
I've had that happen when I've worked out and just like I'm not fully there.
yeah.
At around 1 o'clock.
And I lied. I got my 2 double-doubles. It's just the best deal in the world, dude. I can get 2 double-doubles and a fries for 15 bones, have 1 for lunch, and I'm always like, oh, I'm not going to have that one for dinner. And then, because it's, it's 11:30 when I get home. So I'm done with that at noon. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to have it for dinner. And then 7 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, yeah, that burger's feeling good. And I warm it up, and I have it for dinner.
It's that
Yep.
man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You probably heard me talk about Adaptive Network for the last couple of months. We've teamed up with them because IT is our business. And when it goes down, we're out of business. And if you're a business owner that's been listening and you're thinking, maybe I need to join AGM and get better IT, what should you do? Well, the first thing I do is take an absolutely free security assessment. Call Adaptive Networks today at 241-0638. Don't wait until it's too late. By the time a business realizes their IT is bad, they're usually already in crisis. Adaptive Network makes it simple, no jargon, just absolute results. And they're there to help. They're local, responsive, and security focused. Again, call today at 241-0638. Adaptive Network, your IT partner in Bakersfield, making it simple, stable, and secure.
Thursday edition, Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show. It will be the eve of the 4th of July, which means we will have a special guest host for all of you. He is Brian Mudd from WJNO in Palm Beach. All that coming your way. Make sure you don't miss it. Clay Travis, Buck Sexton show, Thursday edition on the eve of July 4th.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Charlie Kirk Show. Weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Say goodnight.
And I said to myself, what a wonderful world. That's my Louis Armstrong with the handkerchief. His eyes would go Chinese and he'd be grinning. Was that racist? A little bit racist. What? Come on. My eyes. Yeah, that was a little. Yeah, shut would have been a better description. Yeah, okay, all right. I apologize to all our Asian friends. That was extremely racist of me. You're absolutely right. But his eyes would squint, and he eyes are green, and he was always sweating. My clouds are gray, and his head was shaking. Sorry, 842-537-6842 KERN. As I mentioned, Coco Gauff got her butt destroyed in round 1 of Wimbledon. Got underway today, and we're moving on to round 2. Everybody that is expected to have won except for Jenna Pegula, another American that got bounced on the women's side. On the men's side, I think just about everybody who's expected to move forward did so, including Americans Ben Shelton and Taylor Fritz. Djokovic, who is now the 5th seed, advanced in a tough match as well. Sinner won in 3 straights. He's the number 1 seed. We talked about Carlos Alcaraz earlier in the week, yesterday, I guess, that took him 5 sets. And Chris and I have a bet. What is our bet, by the way?
That's a good question.
I got Alcaraz. He's got Sinner. I lunch. And lunch here. Not like Luigi's or anything like that. Just you tell me what I got to bring to work, and I'll tell you what you got to bring to work. I could eat because I got to start eating lunch. I got to start eating. I've been not eating during the day. I've lost a little tonnage. Because I still got to get rid of it. All right, see that? Right there, Jack.
See, no one noticed it until you started messing with it.
Well, it's there, Jack. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got?
Today is the anniversary of Newscomb announcing the high-speed rail project. It's been 17 years.
Can you believe that? Can you believe that?
Half my life.
Half your life, and we haven't gotten to Merced yet. Shafter to Merced.
It's not gonna get done before my.
Trump's not going to. Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, has told Newscomb, not getting a penny out of us. I don't know where you're going to. They spent $14 billion. It's completely, I mean, and you know, believe it or not, a majority of Californians still believe in this thing. Like, are they not aware that this is 70s technology? That this is where the Japanese began? What we're establishing in America is what the Japanese established in the 1970s. It's not, technically, it's not even high-speed rail because you're stopping at so many damn spots, and they can't even construct Merced to Shafter, let alone LA to San Francisco. And again, what are you going to do if you're from San Francisco and you land in LA in a train? All right? Last I remember, the train station is down by my mama's house downtown. So now you're downtown LA, and I got to be in Encino by 2:00. So now, along with however much it's going to cost you to get from San Francisco to LA in this damn train, which I'm assuming at minimum it's got to be, let's say, $2 billion. And this is going to be years in advance. So if it's $2 billion in 25, that's my guess. What's it going to be in 2030 if and when this thing gets up on its feet? So let's just say it's $200. $200 one way, San Francisco to LA. Now you're downtown and you got to get to Encino. You got to get to the Valley. You got to get to Sherman Oaks. That's another $50 Uber ride. Are you going to rent a car? What are you going to do? It's California. People look at me like I'm a Martian that I don't own a vehicle. People don't go places without their car. Business people aren't going to be stuck in LA, of all places, or San Francisco without a vehicle. Now, San Francisco has a better rapid transit than we do. The BART, and you can get, it's not as large as Los Angeles. Los Angeles isn't even a city. It's a bunch of different communities all placed around Southern California. But again, if you're downtown and you got to get to the airport, or if you're at the airport and you got to get to the Valley, or you're in the Valley and you got to get to wherever in Los Angeles, it's a nightmare, financially speaking. 17 years. I would have said 10. I would have never guessed. It's almost been 2 decades. And this nitwit that wants to be president of the United States is doubling down on this thing. Just don't understand it. Just some things just are above my pay grade. I'll never understand. What else you got?
This bill has $45 billion in the big, beautiful bill for ICE, a.k.a. Donald Trump's private army.
And that's a good thing. I think you're complaining, but I think that's a great thing. I think there's a lot of positives in the bill. I like the bill. I really do. Because my taxes aren't going up. And 68% of us had this not passed, and it will. It might have to go back to the Senate after the House puts a couple of more amendments on it, but this thing is going to pass. Maybe not even by July 4th, but this thing is going to pass. And I like the fact that I'm not going to pay more taxes. I like the fact that we're going to get deadbeats back to work. What if this thing works? See, because of Trump phobia, nobody ever in the media examines, well, what if this works? We went through this with the tariffs. We went through this with him shutting down the border. We go through this with everything because the media has Trump phobia or Trumphoria or whatever you want to call it and can't give him credit for anything. But what if this thing works? And what if we get this generation that we've lost? Because we have clearly, if this fire thing doesn't convince us that we have lost a whole generation of young people, I've stayed away from this story. I haven't really talked about it. This 20-year-old who set a fire to lure first responders so he can pick them off with a shotgun. Did you hear that? He used a shotgun. And they're saying that the 20-year-old wanted to be a fireman. So I'm guessing he failed an exam, he didn't get the gig, and we've got a whole generation of young people who don't understand failure, don't understand that failure is a part of life, it's a part of growth. It's one of the, to be honest with you, losing and failing is one of the best things that can happen to young people at an early age, if you don't helicopter parent them and act like the perennial safety net. Because they learn at a young age, losing is a part of life, and dusting yourself off and getting back in the ball game is all part of being successful. Whenever I talk about this, I always talk about Michael Jordan. You know Michael Jordan's high school story, don't you, Mr. Sportsman?
I do.
Tell the story.
Michael was a high school basketball player, a little undersized that did not make it on his junior
11th grade, got cut.
Yeah.
Got cut.
And grew about
A coach in high school told Michael Jordan, get out my gym. And Michael Jordan could have been like, he doesn't like me, I'm black, he doesn't like my mama, he doesn't like where I'm from, blah, 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 blah. And he said, cool, I'll be back next summer. Now, the part of the story I rarely tell children is he grew like 4 inches between his junior year and his senior year. It's one thing to come in at 6'3", and I'm sorry, Michael, there's no room for you. And you come back next summer and you're 6'5", and you're still Michael Jordan. You got the handle, and now you can fly like a bird. There's a big difference. But the point is, he didn't take it personally. He didn't point fingers. He put it on himself. He worked harder because, as most of you know, by 11th grade, most athletes, man, they're picking you out now. What, Chris? 12, 13, 14?
Yeah.
I mean, they're recognizing kids. Yes, the whole AAU thing is just revolutionary. There's a whole little basic little league in basketball where these guys travel all over the country, and they spotted you by 11th grade, Jack. Most of these kids are committed to college by 11th grade. Not Jordan, got cut, got told to go home, and didn't get bitter and got back into the ball game. And I'm not sure that today's kids have that mentality, have that inner strength, that inner character. And I think we're part of the problem. We as parents, and it's not malevolent. It's out of love that we try to, you don't want to see your child fail. I get that. But failing, believe it or not, particularly at a young age, is a good thing. It really is. You learn so much more from losing. Anybody can win. Everybody's happy and in a good mood and a good character when the champagne is flowing and we've won. But you get tested when you lose. What kind of character do you have? Are you Aryna Sabalenka and going to claim that the person that beat you didn't play that well? You just played badly? You know what I'm saying? It's the hardest thing to teach a child. It really is. But if you don't, because that's what I suspect is going to happen out of that fire deal, that we're going to learn. If, in fact, the reports that I heard were true, that he wanted to be a fireman, I bet he failed an exam or didn't get the gig and set a fire to lure first responders and then pick them off. What killed 2 and one's fighting for his life with a shotgun. You can call me an old man. I just yearn for the 20th century. I don't understand the 21st century. I really don't. Mothers leaving their kids in a car. Dads taking selfies with their kids on a ship and placing them up on top of a precarious kind of plexiglass, dropping your daughter. And did you hear the package? The mother was on the ship.
Mm.
I cannot wait to find the details out of this and find out if that is in fact true. The dad was taking a selfie with his daughter.
The other thing that I'm kind of curious about with this too is that the reporter said that the 4th floor has plexiglass around it. So
42 inches high.
Yeah.
What is that? What's 12 into 42? 4? That's 48. So it's like 3.5, 3 change. Yeah. And that's above. So, but I mean, you know, if he put her like this and he went like that, that's why he dropped her.
Maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because he looked, did you see the picture? You didn't see the picture of the guy. They had a picture of him as they were bringing the boat back. He's a big guy.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was a big guy. So I bet he sat her up there like that and probably went like that to get in the picture himself. And then,
And if he was able to jump through it as well, this obviously wasn't part of the part where it was plexiglass covered.
high, that high. Yeah. High, if it wasn't, if he jumped, you're right. If he jumped in.
Couldn't have been. So that's why I'm like, and he had to have jumped in immediately because of a 5-year-old hitting the water.
See, that's what I said. Now I asked Randy, who is our local traveler, just got back from Italy, and he goes on all kind of cruises because I hate cruises. I've been on one cruise. I hate
This dude needs to start being my travel agent too, because some of the trips he takes, I'm just like, I need your life, dude.
Dude, he just got back from Italy. He was he in Greece as well?
I believe so.
Zucchini just got back. Chris Zucchini just got back from Italy. You know, I've been saying I got to go international. I always say Greece and Spain. No, I think Italy should be my first priority. Hell, I got to figure out what I'm doing in August.
Right.
Am I going to Vegas? Am I going to a Cardinal game with Kathy? Am I going to Pismo with the boys? Am I doing all three?
The world may never know.
You may never know. We never know. I'm going to be flush on my birthday. That's all I know. And my mother turns 83 at the end of this month. She's 30 days away from her 83rd birthday. Harriet Bailey, man, is a badass. She has outlived, and I would have never guessed this. Never, because my mother smoked like a chimney. And the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. My mother likes that. I'm not sure, you know, I've never checked. Last time I was in LA, because I'd always say she still got that Kettle One bottle in the freezer. But I didn't check the last time I was because I don't stay with her. I stay at the Sheraton or the Marriott by the hotel, by the airport. I don't think I checked in the freezer whether she's still doing a little vodka every now and again. I don't think so now that she's on dialysis.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't think so either. But my mother loved, you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And she smoked like a chimney until she was about my age, 25 years ago. And she has outlived all of her friends. Mrs. Williams, my Aunt Sylvia, who is not my aunt, Wilbur Sewsbury's first wife, and Mrs. Jefferson, all of her close friends. My mom is like the last one standing at 83. She's a badass. She really, really is. Raised 3 kids. And then at the age of about 77, 78, helped raise my nephew and get him out of high school and get him into college. And he is just began his sophomore year, or is about to begin his sophomore year. No, he's already started. Where are we? July? No, starts in August. Let's go ahead and take our final break of the day. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Our former federal agent, Howard Marcus, joins us. What a sad day not to have Teresa Goldner, our former federal magistrate judge, with us today, with Kohlberger and Mr. Combs. Would have been nice, but she's gallivanting through New York City. I cannot wait to hear the stories next Tuesday. Quick timeout, final break of the night. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN. We stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What is the Armstrong and Getty Show? Well, I'll tell you what it's not. The old style of talk radio where you're always screaming, our side's always right, your side's always wrong, or taking a bunch of long, dull calls. Now we take a fast-paced look at the events of the day, the issues, the controversies, with a skeptical eye and a somewhat humorous tongue.
We try to be funny. We'll leave that up to you to determine whether or not you think it's funny. It's the Armstrong and Getty Show.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey folks, this is Michael Benz.
noted barbecue connoisseur. Hand me that microphone. This is the real Michael Bean, noted barbecue connoisseur. That was my buddy Jeff.
Good to your promo.
Here eating barbecue with the man. Hey, why don't you tell us about what's going on with the catering in the banquet hall?
Thanks, bud. Yes, we have got the catering line. It is hopping. People are calling in, booking their caterings right now. And for those of you looking for a banquet hall or
Should I do the Disney cruise or Kohlberger?
I say Kohlberger.
Kohlberger? All right. 3, 2. I understand how some of the parents of the victims of Brian Kohlberger feel that he's not getting the death penalty, but I would think that life in prison is more cruel. I think by giving him the death penalty, that's the easy way out. Let him rot for the next 4 to 5 decades in a federal prison. Ready? 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, we hope to have a final verdict in the Sean Combs trial. We'll be covering that. It's a Wednesday, so our former federal agent Howard Marcus will join us. And the latest on the big, beautiful bill. All that, me at 3. It's TRBS. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3.
Believe how my hearing and life changed. Join over 1 million happy customers.
Now that I have an audience, we should start showing them stuff.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
We should start showing the audience stuff.
People in the U.S. are now spending on gas.
They can hear me right now, right?
That's on you. Did you mute the mic?
Yeah, I'm still on.
Well, then, yeah.
This is the Dodger bat that Lauren Skidmore, the lovely head of the Open Door Network, gave to me as a gift. Love that. What else we got to show them?
I'd be careful taking that off the wall.
Oh, it's stuck.
Yeah,
Damn.
I think it's on a sticky.
Damn. All right.
Yeah, the honor flight one's behind you. Yeah.
I'll show them.
Here, you got 10 seconds till we come back.
One of our honor flight pal acts. Look at that. Am I in this? I'm not in this picture. But that is in D.C., obviously, in front of the Lincoln Memorial. And it says an appreciation to American General Media and the Ralph Bailey Show for sponsorship in the entirety. Native American Flight number 48, November 2023. Isn't that nice?
Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Mr. Flores set up all this. Isn't that nice? I don't know where he got those 2 books. Chasing the Lion and the American Playbook by Clay Travis.
The American Playbook was given to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sent to the station. I'm not sure where the AJ Tata book came from.
All right. 842-537-6842 KERN. Anything left on the board before we get out of here?
Yes, we got a couple here.
What do you got?
Jordan just says, "What's up? Watching the live stream. Haven't been listening lately. I apologize, but just been a little bit busy."
That's all right. And there's no big sports for me to mush. Nothing I can help you with. Except I would bet the house on Yamamoto tonight. I'll tell you that, boy.
Although, congratulations to the Chargers and Rodney Harrison. They're putting Rodney Harrison in their Hall of Fame.
Really? But Rodney Harrison is not in the NFL Hall of Fame.
Oh, he is not. This is going to be their Ring of Honor kind of a thing that every team has. He will be one of 36 athletes, I believe, to be in that list.
He should be in the Hall of Fame.
I agree.
Is he not in the Hall of Fame because players thought he was a dirty player?
Are you thinking of the linebacker, Harrison?
No, the safety.
Okay. Then
Isn't that what you're talking about? Rodney Harrison, the safety.
Yeah. No, I was just making sure we were talking about the same person.
The guy who was doing NBC with Tony Gwynn. There's too many Tonys. With Tony, the coach, Tony Dungy. Yeah, I loved Rodney Harrison. You remind me of Rodney Lott. That's why I never thought he was dirty. He was just physical.
Big hitter.
Big hitter. Big hitter. belongs in the Hall of Fame. What else you got?
The bigger problem with today's anniversary of the announcement of the high-speed rail is the fact that Newsom is still in office after 17 years.
Good point. When he began as mayor of San Francisco, I would tell you the story. I was at Dodgers, whatever it is, Qualcomm, whatever the hell that monstrosity is in San Francisco, and it was Bruce Bochy's last game of the season. They were playing the Dodgers, and I had that overrated crab cake sandwich for $20, and I just really wasn't impressed with the stadium. Anyway, it's Bochy's last day, and they had all these officials from San Francisco on the big TV screen giving their final, Bruce, we love you, a great part of the community. And when Gavin, I think it was the mayor at the time, when Newsom came up, they booed him in San Francisco. How this guy got elected governor, well, we know it's a one-party state. That's how he got elected. That's how he got elected. And all you got to do is win the primary. Go ask Zoran Mamdani, who is going to become the next communist mayor of New York if Andrew Cuomo gets into this race. If Cuomo stays out of this race and does not run as an independent and split the vote with Eric Adams, Adams will beat this guy. And as I've talked about all week, Mamdani beat the only guy he could beat, Cuomo, who is crooked as a hanger and doesn't deserve to be in public service, but still got 36%, despite the fact that he's been accused of sexual assault, despite the fact that he handled COVID horribly and killed who knows a number of people in New York City and New York State. Still got 36% of the vote and damn near won this thing. He knows what he's doing if he runs as an independent. He can't possibly believe that he's going to lose the primary and then somehow overtake this guy as an independent, particularly when there's another independent, the current mayor, running alongside him. He knows exactly what he's doing. And as Ed Koch said, they get what they deserve. They get what they deserve. If they want to go socialist, communist, fine. A guy that wants to defund the police, wants to get rid of prisons, wants to give away free bus fare, free childcare, wants a city-run grocery store. He's a communist. He's a communist. And that's exactly where they're headed. All right, I got to get out of here. Want to thank Romeo Agbalag. Check out the Kern County Hispanic Chamber's new Community Spotlight, where they're highlighting local game changers. Believe me, Romeo Agbalag, senior advisor to the chancellor of Kern Community College District, is one of those people, one of those game changers. Thank all of you for joining us. Remember, you can watch us at YouTube Kern Radio. Tomorrow's Wednesday. Howard Marcus will be here. We will have a verdict in the Combs trial. He's going to jail for the rest of his natural life. The majority is going to convince the minority, and they're not going to be hung. And when we come in here at 3:05 tomorrow, Mr. Combs is going away for life. In the meantime, I'm going away for 24 hours. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The sprawling Republican budget bill approved by the Senate Tuesday removes a proposed tax on solar and wind energy projects, but quickly phases out tax credits for wind, solar, and other renewable energy. Details from correspondent Bernie Bennett.
The Senate approves Bill 51.